EA College Football 25 is finally here, and you guys have no clue how excited I am to finally be making content for this game. I've got a lot of big things planned over the next couple of weeks, particularly with Dynasty Mode. Tomorrow, I will be revealing the team that I'll be using for my Dynasty series with a quick trailer. Wednesday will be the first episode of the series, and I'm considering doing some other fun stuff in Dynasty and trying out some of the other game modes as well, including what we're going to be doing today. I wanted to start off this EA College Football cycle with a more lighthearted, funny kind of video. So what we're going to be doing is we will be making the stupidest player possible in Road to Glory. One of the things you have to keep up in Road to Glory this year is your grade point average. And if it doesn't hit a certain benchmark, you will be academically ineligible to play. So first things first, we have to pick our journey. I think we're going to pick the elite player just for the sake of the video so we can get on the field the fastest. The smartest position is quarterback. You need to be a smart player to be a QB, particularly a field general quarterback. So I think it's going to be ironic having a complete idiot trying to run the offense. I would like to introduce you guys to our guinea pig today. This is Smarty Pants McGee from the well-known smart town of Camden, New Jersey. We've given him the long locks, we've given him the pedo stash, we've given him cool eye black, and he is going to be the drippiest player on the field. He's rocking the hoodie, the half jersey, the scrunched up socks, the clean visor. He looks ready to roll. This is the type of guy who is not going to class, but instead is going to be partying all weekend long, doing lines of blow. And hopefully that does not affect his performance in the game too much. So he's going to start off as a 79 overall, possibly competing for a starting job right away. This is the TV reporter who's talking to us about our decision. And for all of these answers, we're going to pick the stupidest one possible. Getting NIL opportunities is our goal. Not winning championships, not making the NFL, making bread. So that's what we're going to tell her. We want a fun and enjoyable college experience. I don't care if we win or lose. I don't care if we play well. I just want to get laid. So I thought about a few different schools we could go to. I think in terms of stupid people, the Georgia Bulldogs have to be up there considering half of their team has been arrested for racing-related crimes. But I think it'd be a little bit more ironic if we went to a school that's known for their smarts. So Smarty Pants McGee will be the starting quarterback of the Stanford Cardinal. And while we're on the subject of stupid, the ACC, really? So there you go. Smarty Pants McGee of Camden, New Jersey is going to be the newest 5-star and starting quarterback for the Stanford Cardinal. Essentially the next Andrew Luck, minus the smarts and probably the talent as well. This is what he looks like in his Stanford gear. He looks ready to roll. We even got the red turf tape on both arms. This is what his ratings are going to look like here as a 79 overall. He looks ready to roll for his freshman season, but we're going to be very specific with how we're going to use his time. No studying. We are only focused on the brand. Making money, getting famous, and again, the ultimate goal, as I said earlier, of getting laid. So our beat reporter wants to talk to us about our expectations this year. I'm going to lean on myself because I don't care about anybody else. Again, as I said, I want to pick the stupidest answers possible. The offensive coordinator, we're going to be really good friends, minus the fact that I'm not going to know the playbook at all, and you're probably going to hate me. So as I go into the weekly agenda, it says as of now we have a 3.0 GPA, which feels kind of low for Stanford, but okay. We have to keep a 2.0 GPA, otherwise we're not going to be able to play. The goal is to get the GPA lower than 2. We will never be studying. Again, we're only focused on the brand. Rather than putting points into training, leadership, and most importantly, studying. So part of the allure of coming to Stanford is that we will be the day one starter at quarterback. So we will be playing these first few games, and hopefully sooner than later we'll get replaced. We have an exam in 7 weeks, so that could be a good benchmark of when ultimately Smarty Pants McGee gets benched. We're going to be simulating these games to see how he ultimately performs, and we start at home against the Horned Frogs of TCU. You have not completed practice. Are you sure you wish to proceed? Yes. You talking about practice? This is Karen Jones, our academic advisor. Oh boy, we're going to be great friends over these next few weeks. Karen is going to hate me by the end of this video. I already know it. Your GPA will plummet if you ignore studying. I can't wait to see that number go down. We have an NIL offer from the barber shop. It's ironic, we've got the long hair. But the best way possible for us to increase the brand would be to say yes. That's the goal. So we get our first NIL opportunity signed. We get winning time upgraded. This looks like the ice in the veins D'Angelo Russell celebration. Hopefully our ability in the classroom is as good as D'Angelo Russell in the fourth quarter. We ended up beating TCU 31-16. Not a bad start for QB1. Smarty Pants McGee, he threw a touchdown and along with 200 yards. Also had a decent day on the ground. He's got some good weapons, specifically Alec Ayumanor from Medicine Hat. There's no way that's a real place, is it? We have FCS West in our second game. We should be able to win that one pretty easily. We're going to put all of our points into the brand again. I'm not going to show this every week because it would get kind of repetitive, but just know after each game, we put all of our energy into improving the brand. 55-14, good showing for Stanford. Smarty Pants McGee throws 4 touchdowns and 400 yards while only throwing 5 incompletions. He looks like a pretty good quarterback. It's a shame that his GPA is plummeting by the week. We're talking with one of our teammates, Tobin Phillips, essentially smack-talking him. Hopefully he likes me. Our academic advisor wants to talk to us about a test in honors government. Didn't I tell her that I wanted to take easy classes? So we're not going to study for the test. Everything is coming to fruition here. Hopefully we end up not performing well in the test. Hopefully we do perform well against Syracuse. We end up getting a D+. Procrastinating at Stanford will get results like this. Thanks, Sherlock. I didn't know that. I'm honestly impressed we didn't fail, though. In honors class at Stanford, we didn't study on the test, and we still passed it. I've got to say, I'm impressed. There's a party off campus this week. Want to go? I'm not sure. It's during my night class. Say less. You don't have to convince me anymore. Let's do it. So we're going to the party. Brand increases. GPA goes down. Perfect. We would end up losing to Syracuse, so we're now 0-1 in the ACC. Smarty Pants McGee didn't play too bad, though. 242 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Oddly enough, we did have a better game than Kyle McCord for Syracuse, who barely completed 50% of his passes and was picked off twice. So now we're going to be playing Clemson, who's had a really weird season this year. They just lost to NC State, but they also beat Georgia. So if they're beating the Bulldogs, I think they should be able to beat Stanford pretty easily. Our GPA is down to 2.2. The lower, the better, and we're pretty close to being academically ineligible. We have now made it to the influencer stage of our branding. So again, the more time we focus on this and the less time we're in the classroom, the better. We'll see how we perform on the road against Clemson, but before that, we get news about our lab. This is what we skipped for the off-campus party, and it turns out there was a pop quiz, and we automatically failed. Perfect. GPA goes down. The academic advisor is pissed off. Lovely. We get an NIL offer from Oscar's Pizza. It's a 6-week contract, no energy cost, so we're not losing anything. It's good for us. It's good for our teammates. Since it's a win-win, it seems like a good reason to say no. So we're going to pass up on the NIL deal. Please come to my office. You're on the verge of academic suspension. Good. I don't want to do the extra work. I'm not going to your office, woman. And I'm definitely not writing a 10-page paper for extra credit. I do not have time for that. I have better things to worry about. So our road dog has been upgraded. That's a glizzy on the screen. Very cool. And there it is. We're academically ineligible to play. The plan has worked. We just lost to Clemson 35-16. Cade Klubnik threw 100% completion percentage. Maybe the secondary should be academically ineligible too. Smarty Pants had a pretty good game himself, but he is now going on the bench. I will say I am a little bit confused though. Because we passed on the extra credit paper, our GPA goes down. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of extra credit? If you do the assignment, you get rewarded. But if you don't do the assignment, your GPA shouldn't go down. I mean, I'm not complaining, but it doesn't really make sense. We're going to continue to not study, though, focus on our influence. The coaching staff has suspended you this week until you get your grades up. Good. I'll see you at study hall tomorrow morning at 7:30. You can call me Klay Thompson in the play-in, because I'm not showing up. Unfortunately, they made us go. So that's going to help our GPA. That kind of sucks. Just want to make sure you're actually reading the playbook and prepared. Here's a quiz. Oh boy, we're going to get all these questions wrong. B. No, that's something different. Here's an easier one. Which term refers to the offense that comes to the line of scrimmage and looks to the sideline with an option to change the play? So I accidentally got this question right, unfortunately. So much for getting all these wrong, I guess. Which of these plays have crossing receivers, sit versus zone, and keep running versus man? Obviously, that is a mesh pattern, so because of that, we are going to click flood. No, that's something different. Flood is a corner, a flat, and usually a clear out route. So as you can tell, we're not reading the playbook, which is good. Our backup just made his first start against Virginia Tech. We ended up losing 32-28. Honestly impressed we kept it that close against the Virginia Tech team who's played pretty well so far this year with a record of 5-1. The new starter is junior Ashton Daniels. He honestly played pretty well, 351 yards and 2 touchdowns. Our GPA has climbed back up to 2 after our study hall session. Thankfully, we're still ineligible, though. Your midterm results are back. You got 3 Ds and an F. We only failed once. I'm impressed. Our GPA is down to a 1. So we're not even close to being eligible. Can we get kicked out of Stanford at this point? You've been academically suspended this week. Time to go to study hall. Following week, you're academically suspended. You're going to study hall. So once your GPA gets to a certain point, clearly the game wants you to bring it back up, and we've climbed it to a 1.8. Our backup has seen mixed results over the last few weeks. Lost a close one to number 2 Notre Dame. We beat SMU, and then we lost to Wake Forest, who's 6-2. We play on the road against top 10 NC State, but it gets easier after that with 3 teams who've only combined for 5 wins. I do want to take a look at where the rest of the country is, just kind of look at some of these screens, get familiarized with them. A lot of quarterbacks in the Heisman race, along with Trayshawn Holden. Let's go Ducks. We've got all of the individual player awards by position as well. That's pretty cool. Jalen Milroe, the favorite for player of the year and the Heisman. The real head coaches are not in the game, keep in mind. I know they mentioned that, but for those who don't know, no Deion Sanders, no Dan Lanning, etc. We also get our first look at the 12-team college football playoff bracket as of now, and honestly, this seems pretty realistic. Mine is probably Wake Forest. Jacksonville State, I know, feels like a weird one, but there has to be a Group 5 team, of course, and other than Wake Forest, I could certainly see that scenario happening. Hey, dude, we're in the same geology night class. My friend is a teacher's assistant and gave me a sheet with the answers to the test. Do you want it? So we have an interesting choice here. We can choose to fail the test, bring our GPA down, or we can say yes. This is a risk, because if we get caught cheating, we'd probably get expelled, right? So I'm kind of curious to see what happens if I click yes, and it turns out we aced the test. You purposely put the wrong answer a few times to avoid suspicion and got a 95. That is so real. I love the immersion with this because, well, who didn't do that during the pandemic at online class, right? Our GPA has climbed up a full point. It's now 2.8. So, unfortunately, it worked out too well, and we are back as the starting quarterback. Our team is 3-6, but we're playing against some pretty bad opponents. So if we win out, we could easily make a bowl game. 2 things. Don't forget you have finals on week 15. Hopefully you've been studying for them. Nope. Don't try to cram the week before. It's ironic because I'm a crammer in real life, and I still score pretty well. Second, your American government class is given an extra credit opportunity if you write an extra 10-page essay. Yeah, no. I don't want to do the extra work. I'll be fine on the finals. I love the confidence here from Smarty Pants McGee. So I simulated through our next 2 games. We ended up winning both of them against Louisville and Cal. The point was to create an idiot, but we might have created a genius by academically suspending ourselves for our hardest games and playing in all of the easy ones. 5 touchdowns in the first game over Louisville. And then against Cal, we win 27-17. We threw 2 more touchdowns. Statistically, our player is having a ridiculously good season. 14 touchdowns, 1 interception, 67% completion percentage, 275 yards per game. If we win this last game against San Jose State, we will be going to a bowl game after starting, 3-6? So we're going to continue to focus on the brand, though. And as you can see, we are academically suspended once again. Our GPA went down super quickly. I guess we didn't do too well on our finals. 3 Ds and an F. Again, I'm impressed that we only failed once. So we have made it to the end of the regular season. Our GPA is back down to a 1.8, which is certainly where we want it to be. We have passed the influencer stage of our branding, and we are now a superstar. Speaking of superstardom, we ended up beating San Jose State 35-14. We win our final 3 games. I'm pretty sure my player went 5-1 as the starting quarterback or something like that. 2 touchdowns and 169 yards for Smarty Pants McGee. And at 6-6, our team is bowl eligible, but we are currently not eligible to play in the game since our GPA is so low. We're going to simulate 2 bowl week now. You're academically suspended, you'll need to be in study hall. So our GPA goes up, and because of that, we'll be eligible to play in the bowl game. Thanks a lot, EA. I didn't want to play. Gio Lopez of South Alabama ends up winning the Heisman Trophy. Didn't think we'd see a South Alabama Heisman winner, but here we are. As for the bowl game, we are going up against Alabama. Smarty Pants might have a rough day in this game. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl against the Crimson Tide. Clearly, Alabama had a down season with Nick Saban gone. How else did they go from a playoff contender to the Gator Bowl? They're not in the top 25, yet teams like Rutgers and UNLV are. They still didn't finish that bad, all things considered, though. They went 8-4, playing in the most loaded conference, dare I say, ever. Georgia even went 6-6. That puts in perspective how good the SEC was. This is what the playoff bracket looks like. Again, I could honestly see this happening. 2 Group 5 teams is certainly interesting with UNLV and Liberty. I can't imagine they'll be putting 2 Group 5 teams in, but that's a fascinating scenario. As for our player, we're going to continue to focus on the brand, not the GPA, not getting better. And that could prove to be a challenge because after playing an ACC schedule with some not-so-good teams, we'll be playing against the Alabama Crimson Tide in a bowl game, and I figured, why not hop in and play?
Florida today to see who will walk out as champion of the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Weeks of additional practice and prep for bowl games not only can set the tone for what we're going to see in this game, but for what might be in store next season as well. As we'll see a squad from the SEC, the Alabama Crimson Tide, taking on a team from the ACC, the Stanford Cardinal. Glad to have you with us for EA Sports College Football. I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack and Jesse Palmer with me in the booth. Guys, we are ready to tee it up.
So after accidentally being eligible for our bowl game, our reward is that we get to play against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Smarty Pants McGee's first pass is caught. It's a gain of 9. Doesn't go for a first down. So you guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit during the gameplay because this is quite literally the first time I have played this game. I didn't do any experimenting or nothing beforehand. So this is literally the first time I've played EA College Football 25. You know, I didn't think my first game here would be with Smarty Pants McGee, but here we are. Play action on the run. Tipped it incomplete. A lot of pressure there. That's part of, you know, facing off against the Alabama defensive line. 3rd and 7. McGee is picked off. The defensive back comes in out of nowhere with the interception, and it's a pick 6. Devontae Smith. Didn't he graduate like 4 years ago? Okay, this has to be cheating. How did Alabama get a former Heisman winner on their team? In all seriousness, for those who didn't know, they do have another player ironically named Devontae Smith. It's just kind of funny. So with that, we are now losing 10-0. Looks like it'll be a read option. McGee keeps it and gets smothered. I like when you run as a quarterback, though. It kind of zooms in. I thought that looked kind of cool. On 3rd down, we would ultimately pick up the conversion, though, so that'll keep the chains moving. Love to see it. The fans appear to be pretty fired up. I think they did a really good job with the fans. They look realistic. They look engaged. Now it is a 2nd and 4. Another play action. McGee sends it downfield, and it is caught past the 50. For a big gain. Huge throw from Smarty Pants McGee to get the first down for the Stanford Cardinal as we look to take a cut into this deficit. Another play action on the run. Sends it downfield. Low throw, but it's caught inside the 10 for a gain of 33 yards. I'm still getting used to the passing meter. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it on for my eventual series, but I figured I'd try it out. Short throw is caught in the end zone. That's a touchdown. The Stanford Cardinal are on the board. On his head, rocking the baby, and it's 10-7. We might be back in the game, fellas. So we get it back on offense. Defense holds them. Another play action. I guess this team loves running play action. On the run, under pressure, it is intercepted again. Please keep in mind, if this was an actual game where I was seriously trying, I would have thrown the ball away there. I knew that was a stupid read, but I figured there was a chance we'd make a play. And since this game is for fun, and I'm not really focused on not throwing picks, it's going to happen. So Alabama adds a field goal, 13-7 as we go for the run. End up getting around 5 or so yards. 2nd and 5. Floating up downfield. It's caught! The receiver breaking tackles. Still on his feet, and he's eventually pushed out of bounds for a gain of over 50. What a play after the catch. The tree is fired up. In the red zone. Play action. On the run. Short throw. It's caught, and that goes for a touchdown. Stanford takes the lead late in the first half. It's the tight end Roush who makes the play. Unfortunately, our lead would be short-lived. Alabama would drive down the field. They'd score a quick touchdown. It's 20-14 going into halftime. Smarty Pants McGee has 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions today. Certainly has not been a perfect game from him. But overall, considering this is literally my first half of playing EA college football, it could have been worse. I feel like I'm getting used to the passing meter a little bit. It definitely feels different than Madden. I know there's a lot of people who have been worried that this is a Madden reskin. All the content creators who have been playing this game early are telling you that it's not, and I can now prove that they are right. This is absolutely not a Madden reskin. The presentation here for the halftime show, by the way, looks really sick. Obviously, the presentation in general at this game looks absolutely awesome. So, I've got to say, for my first half, I'm really impressed. That'll bring us into the second half. We'll see if we can look to make the comeback, as we will start with possession of the ball. 2nd and 3. On the run. I wouldn't mind scrambling with him a little bit. We're going to try to dump it off short, but we're hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. 3rd and 3 now. McGee up the middle, goes short. Sometimes you just got to dump it off, and we get the first down, but he fumbles, and it's picked up by Alabama. The defense forces a turnover, and they would ultimately score and get the 2-point conversion. It's 28-14. Now McGee is intercepted on his very next pass. We're going to bring him down at around the 10. Things are trending downwards, as you can see, for the Stanford Cardinal. We're now down by 3 scores, 31-14. We're going to float it up downfield. Risky throw. I think it was actually pretty accurate, but we should have thrown the ball a little bit sooner so he didn't get hit as soon as he caught it. That'll make it a 3rd and 7 now. We're calling an audible, trying to get somebody here with a slant route, and it's not going to work. No time to throw it. Keanu Conte with the sack. And that'll force a punt, another stalled drive. Same score as we get the ball back. Play action on the run. Under some pressure. Going to dump it off here for the running back. Didn't time up the meter super well. It was a pretty easy throw being that he was fairly close and he makes the play. 3rd and 4 going short once again. Goes for a first down to the receiver. Nice read from Smarty Pants McGee. Following play now, 1st and 10. Another quick throw. That one is caught. And it goes for a solid gain of around 7. 2nd and 3. Play action. Looking short once more. It's caught, but we don't get anything out of it. That'll make it a 3rd and 3 now. Ultimately, our coach would decide to have us run the ball, and we get the first down. Huge run. Goes for a really strong gain. We really haven't ran the ball that well today, up until that play, I guess, as that'll wrap up the 3rd quarter. Alabama with the lead, 31-14 into the 4th. Smarty Pants McGee looking for the miracle as he goes short on the screen. Doesn't get much, maybe a yard or 2. Got to have a sense of urgency here. We're only playing on 6-minute quarters. Time is not on our side. 2nd and 9. Short pass is incomplete. I feel like I timed up the meter pretty well. But he's a freshman. He's not going to make every throw in the book. 3rd and 9. We're running the ball for God knows what reason. Unsurprisingly, it doesn't work. We lose 3. I would honestly kick here, make it a 2-score game, but they're going to go for it on 4th down, and we have to throw out of the sack. It's incomplete. No time to throw it. Nobody was open. And it looks like Stanford is in a lot of trouble. Same score, getting it back on offense. We're going to look to run under pressure. He is sacked. Got to go no huddle. Time is not on our side. We need to move as quick as possible if we can get the miracle. On 2nd down, McGee is under pressure. Again, has to throw out of the sack. The offensive line has forgotten how to block here in the second half, and that'll make it 3rd and long. Why are we running a wide receiver screen? Once I saw that play in the playbook, I wanted to throw up. 4th and 18, they want us to run the ball. That might be an even worse play call. I'm going to call timeout, try to get our coach to snap out of it. Can we get David Shaw back as the head coach of Stanford, please? He would be smart enough to not run the ball on 4th and 18. So thankfully our coach comes to his senses. We're going to look to throw the ball. Throwing it up downfield, and it is broken up. Again, I wish we threw the ball a little bit earlier because it looked like he actually had some space. Could have maybe been open, but unfortunately does not get the job done. So we'll continue to simulate here. Alabama ends up getting another touchdown. They're up 38-14 for what could be one of our final drives of the game. Smarty Pants McGee looking to pad his stats, make himself look a little bit better, and that will work. It's a solid gain after the catch. 1st and more. Huge play for Bryce Farrell. He's got 110 yards on 4 catches. McGee floats it up downfield, and it is picked off once again. For those of you who are newer to my channel and have never seen my gameplay, I promise I don't normally throw 3 interceptions per game. I think my gameplay is usually pretty realistic, but again, this is my first game of College Football 25. I have not had any time to mess around with the sliders yet and obviously get better at the game. Wide receiver screen goes for about 7 yards. 2nd and 3. Smarty Pants McGee is an open man downfield. Hospital ball, but it is caught. Nice catch as it goes for the 1st down. Following play here, under some pressure, up the middle to the running back. Now the offense is kind of moving it. Why couldn't we have this at all during the rest of the second half? Looking for the end zone, risky throw, and it is incomplete, broken up. 2nd and 10, under pressure, going short, caught by the receiver, breaking tackles. He's in for a Stanford touchdown. It's Alika Yomanor with the score. He's been pretty quiet today. I think that's only his 2nd catch at the game, but it does go for a touchdown. The Stanford tree is going to be pretty fired up, as you can see. Something else that I kind of like that I haven't touched on yet is the scores at the bottom. I don't think we saw that in any of the preview footage of the game, so I'm happy that there is a scoreboard so we can see the other scores around college football. I think it'll be especially fun in the regular season when there's games going on at the same time. So looking at it first in a bowl game isn't as fun, but as we play regular season games, I think it'll be pretty cool. Gonna go for 2 here. I haven't run with him yet, so I'm gonna look to scramble. Try to find some running room, and there he is. Smarty Pants McGee in for the 2-point conversion, 38-22, making the scoreboard look a little bit better in what ultimately was not a particularly good performance from our team today. We did play against Alabama. It'll happen, and ultimately we fall by 16 points. We definitely did not get lucky with our bowl draw. I think our team would have had a much better chance of winning if we played somebody who, was evenly matched. I don't think Stanford and Alabama is exactly the most fair first game. Jalen Milroe wins the player of the game with only 100 yards. I guess Alabama really ran the ball, whereas our team was focused on throwing it, which I guess makes sense considering we were down for pretty much the entire game. Certainly a mixed bag for Smarty Pants McGee. He was picked off 4 times, but threw for 3 touchdowns. I definitely felt more comfortable passing the ball, though, as the game went along. And again, for those of you who have not seen my gameplay, I promise there's not 4 interceptions per game on offense or on defense. Road Dogg has been upgraded once again, but we still ultimately get the loss here in bowl week. So that was pretty fun. Going through a season here on Road to Glory, playing the bowl game, getting our GPA as low as possible. It's down to a 2.2 now. I thought it was a 2.8 going into bowl week. I guess those interceptions, our professors thought we looked like an idiot with some of those reads, so our grades went down, which honestly is pretty fair. For those of you who want part 2 for Smarty Pants McGee, maybe going over his sophomore season, let me know down below in the comments section. Got plenty of fun stuff again here on the channel. Dynasty content's going to be coming soon. I can't wait for that. Hope you guys enjoyed this first video here.